So I'm finally here at Brands, just getting set up to go out in my car for the first time and to just do a shakedown really for me to get used to the car and to get used to these cold conditions as well, but I'm just so excited to get out there. The car looked amazing. It still seemed unreal that I was actually going to be driving it. First order of the day was to adjust the controls and to make sure that I was strapped in and comfortable. Once we had everything set, it was time for my first session. This was my first time in the car. So I had racing instructor Will Arif with me for the first half of the day. It was not just my first time in the car, it was my first track day, and I'd only driven any car twice before. It was freezing cold and damp. The car had slick racing tyres on, so there was absolutely no grip. Lots of people were sliding off the track, so I had to take it easy and try to get used to the car. Will guided me around, getting me to try things that increased my confidence on the track. After several sessions, the morning was over and it was time for a lunch break. This meant a debrief with team boss Tony Gillam, then straight into an interview with Chris Dickett of Kent Sport News.
And it's hard to believe, I think, that you're only 15, 16 years old.
When my friends will hear that I'm racing in cars and they're like, well, how can you do that? You haven't got a driving licence. But it's just a surreal feeling. Then with Chris McCarthy from Karting Magazine.
Getting used to the H-pad.
Yeah, it's like a sequential pretty much for me today, because except for pulling away, I'm only in third and fourth.
Right.
I just only had a bit of trouble when we were pulling the car in, because I've never reversed the car before. I stalled it in reverse, and trying to reverse it in, but then so they pushed it in instead. But yeah, it's just such an experience, really. Wow. Before I knew it, the time had come for my first ever solo driving session. I was really nervous. But once I was leaving the pit lane, I suddenly felt a burst of confidence. I didn't want to be overconfident, so I took it very, very slowly. There was no way I wanted to spin off on my first solo run, or even at all. At first, everyone was faster than me. Then, I sensed where my abilities were and was able to get faster and faster. Pretty soon, I was catching the people that had passed me earlier. Lap after lap, session after session, I just got more and more confident. I made sure that I kept a lot of room for error in reserve. Overconfidence could mean overshooting a corner. With it being so cold and damp, the tyre still had virtually no grip, so I really had to tiptoe around each corner. Even then, I was still quick enough to catch some pretty fast cars, fitted with better suited tyres, and driven by some very experienced drivers. This was much more than I was expecting on my first ever track day. Overall, the day was an amazing experience. And before I knew it, as the light was fading, my final session of the day came to an end. I have to admit, I wasn't ready for the day to be over. Time for one more interview. I was with my instructor, but I just can't wait to be back here again and to be back in my car again. Then a debrief with lead driver Howard Fuller.
Yeah, but no, the progression was good for the whole thing, which is, I mean, it's good for your confidence.
Yeah. productive driving my VW Cup car for the first time. For the first half of the day I was with instructor Will Arif, who was really supportive and helped me get to a really good stage by lunchtime, and in the second half I was by myself. And it was nerve-wracking, but as soon as I got out there I just got so much confidence and I was getting faster and faster every session, and it was so much fun. And I just can't thank everyone who supported me to get here, especially Team Hard, who have set up the car really well and on time for me to be testing at Brands Hatch. I thought they would have gone off coming out of Druids, but they're coming out of Paddock.
Yeah, because they put the power on too early. That's what they're doing. And I can feel you're getting confident. Feed it bit by bit, and when you're on the top straight, you can just boot it.